as businesses try to open up and the economy starts to open up, many of those businesses are reporting that they are having far lower sales than usual. Here's the story with CFIB's Dan Kelly. It's James with NetNewsLedger. Joining us by phone is the president of the Canadian Federation for Independent Business, Dan Kelly. Dan, welcome to NetNewsLedger.
Happy to be with you.
It's trying times for business, especially the small business sector.
It sure is. Gosh, the numbers of businesses that remain closed is incredibly high. Even for those that are open, very few of them are making any money. Their costs have returned a lot more quickly than their revenues have. In Ontario right now, 37% of our members are fully open, meaning that over 60% of small and medium-sized businesses in the province are either partially or fully closed. And only 12% of the entire small business population says that their sales are anywhere close to normal. And that's really worrisome. If we don't start to see business come back to these small and medium-sized companies, many of them are going to struggle not because of the emergency phase associated with COVID-19, but because they're not going to be able to recover now that businesses are technically allowed to be open.
Well, some of that is probably consumer confidence. And yet here in Thunder Bay, we're seeing the hardware stores, the building supply stores, people are lining up because they're doing things at home. Some businesses that are open seem to be doing better. The restaurant, the hospitality industry, the transportation industry are really suffering, however.
They sure are. Well, it certainly has created some winners and losers, but I will say that there are vastly more losers coming out of this than winners. Yes, there are a few industry sectors, grocery stores, pharmacies, hardware stores that haven't been necessarily affected by a huge sales decline. But I will add that many of those businesses have seen a giant increase in their costs because they've had to take additional measures. They've had to limit numbers in their stores, for one thing, so they're not able to serve as many customers with the same amount of headcount. They've often had to hire extra people to stand at the door and then let people in a controlled way, put cleanliness procedures in place between customers, shields between cashiers and the public. So there have been, even those that are doing well as a result of COVID-19, those businesses that haven't seen a sales decline, or those few that have seen an increase in sales, their costs have gone through the roof in many circumstances. But far more worrisome for us are the sectors that are really, really struggling. When we look at the industry sectors, you mentioned a few. But for example, hairdressers, there's virtually none of them open. 13% of people in the personal services sector are open. 5% of social services, like healthcare professionals, that are open. Not talking about doctors and nurses right now, but talking about private sector companies, yes. Chiropractors, physiotherapists, gyms, and arts and recreation businesses. Only 3% of them have any business, and 5% of normal sales volume. 5% of restaurants, hotels are telling us that their sales have not been eroded as a result. That means 95% of companies in those sectors are hurt really, really hard.
Now, is the federal and provincial governments doing enough for small businesses?
They're trying, but no, I don't think that there is enough support out there right now. And some of the support programs that are in place they're actually pretty good are not working for thousands of business owners across the country. A few good examples. The wage subsidy is the most mature subsidy program the government has. It's been around a long time. And it is good news that the Prime Minister has announced that it's going to be continued for June, July, and August. But some of those companies that you have to qualify by showing a 30% decrease in your gross revenues, for many that's fine. That's fairly easy to do. Unfortunately, though, for others, they may have had a 25% cut in their sales and their costs have increased, and they get zero as a result of that program. The Canada Emergency Business Account is a $40,000 loan program for small business owners. It's delivered by the bank, but backstopped by the federal government. It, too, is a really positive program. But the government has been super slow to fix it to ensure that it's available to all small business owners. Those very small companies that pay contractors or they pay themselves, business owners with dividends, or perhaps a salon that rents chairs, They're supposed to be able to access this, but it's now been 3 weeks and the government still hasn't announced the fix to the program. And also the other program that really is in trouble is the Canada Emergency Commercial Rent Assistance Program, CCRA as it's called. This program is cost shared between the federal government and the provinces. It's supposed to lower rent by 75% for companies that have seen a big sales decline. Unfortunately, the CCRA program is a bit of a mess. Landlords are just not using it, and if you're a tenant and your landlord chooses not to offer the program, apply for a loan to offer the program, then you get zero support. So we're urging the government to make a bunch of fixes there. The Ford government has been very slow to introduce commercial eviction protection. We're hoping that they will do so, but they haven't done it yet. So while there are some good steps that the province and the federal government have taken, a lot more is needed before we're going to see the worst of it over.
What is the CFIB doing to help the small business sector?
Well, we've done a bunch of stuff. The thing we're most known for is advocacy. We've been hitting the governments pretty hard to make sure that they deliver on some of the programs that small businesses need for support. But the big takeaway for us is that we are offering free business consulting. So we're helping business owners by answering questions about COVID-19. Most of those questions are about how to access the government support programs. Some of them are about how to safely reopen, what rules, regulations they need to comply with, how they can call back their employees. We've created a back to business kit for small business owners. It's available free to any small business owner if they visit the CFIB website at cfib.ca. And that one-on-one counseling, we have now taken 24,000 calls from individual business owners answering their questions one-on-one related to COVID-19. And that also is a free call if you look up CFIB on the website. Beyond that, though, we've also created for business. So one of the problems many business owners are having is locating and sourcing personal protective equipment. So we've set up a Facebook page, PPEs for SMEs, that is trying to match some of the great Canadian companies that have now switched gears and are producing personal protective equipment with companies that really need it. And so that's the third thing that we're doing: business counseling, the Back to Business Kit, and a special website dedicated to providing PPEs and matching companies that are making it with companies that need it.
Dan, there's a lot of work to be done, and I want to thank you for taking our call and for updating our members and readers and viewers here on NetNewsLedger.
Happy to be with you.
Let's talk again.
All right. Thanks so much.
Stay up to date, stay safe, and stay subscribed. And if you're not subscribed, join NetNewsLedger on our YouTube and our Facebook pages so you know what's happening.